Everyone. Once again, good morning, everyone. So let me go over a couple of things, and a little bit of it will be a repetition, just a little bit. So next Monday, your exam opens, and you can take it on. It's all here, okay? So, okay, a couple of things. I'm talking about your final, which starts on Monday, okay? It will be available for you to take for starting Monday for the next 4 days. Monday, you can take it on Monday all day, or Tuesday all day, or Wednesday all day, or Thursday. Once you start, you get 2 hours to take it and make sure you have time and everything. So that's about the exam. And I'm thinking today we'll have a regular lesson. We're going to work on 3.6, and this will be our last lecture. I don't plan on meeting tomorrow unless you ask me to do something. If you send me an email saying, could you do number 5 from 3.5? I'll be happy to do it. I'll record a lesson. I think we have done plenty of work, and you have the next class. That's Thursday. We're not going to meet here. I kind of expect you to wrap up your homework, look at your exams, go over your exams. For instance, final will be very similar to exam 3. A lot of the problems will be there. I will, we wrapped up 3.5 yesterday. We're going to wrap up 3.6. And of course, I will include those. So go over a hint would be before you take your final, go over exam 3. Don't worry too much about exam 1 and exam 2. Some of those problems are already in exam 3, right? So if you study exam 3 well and study everything from 3.5 and 3.6, and you're going to see I am not assigning you a whole lot of problems from 3.6. They're like 4 or 5. Once you do those, you will feel confident. Once again, your final score will replace your lowest exam score. Okay. For instance, if your lowest exam score is your exam 1 score, let's say it's 75, and you get 85 on the final, I will delete that 75 and replace it with 85. Now, I'm not going to go to Pearson site and change it. I'll leave it there. When I download the data, I will do it on my computer. So don't email me about that. Here is how I describe. Let me see if I can make it a little bigger. So I'm already getting, excuse me, guys, I'm already getting emails say, are you going to do this? Are you going to do that? The answer is yes. So here is how I'm going to calculate your grade. Let's suppose E1, E2, E3, F. F is not a failing grade. F is your score on the final, and H all out of 100. Okay. I will use this formula to calculate your grade. 10% is your homework, 30% is your final, and 20% is each exam. Now, I did say I will replace your lowest exam score, so it will be replaced. So when you calculate your grade, you do the same. Again, I am not going to go to Pearson and change it because I don't want to lose your grade. Okay. So don't email me saying you didn't change my grade. You didn't change my grade. I have changed it. Generally, I don't mess up these things. I'm very careful. I double check. So if you use this formula and calculate your grade, and I will calculate your grade using the same formula, we're going to get the exact same answer. Got it? So it says how I will calculate your grade. And a couple of other things, guys. Make sure you do your homework by the 27th of July this month. Okay. I won't be able to give you an extension. It is not in my hand. The university wants me to turn in the grades on Friday. I am giving you as much time as I can. Also, a couple of you are struggling a little bit. So I'm giving you a little extra time to study. So you're going to get tomorrow. We're not meeting here, go over the homework problems, go over exam 3. It could only help you get a better grade. I'm going to pause it just a little bit to see. I know we have 4 or 5 people here to see if you guys have any questions. Anything generic. I can't talk about your grade. We are recording, but anything. I didn't understand what you said. How are you going to calculate the grade? Um, and most of you email me, and that's legit. You can always do that, and I will always respond ASAP. So there's no etc. anymore. 5.1, 3. Let me adjust that right now while we are talking. 3.5, 3.6. So I'm going to just erase this. This is the last section we will do today. And it's not a very difficult section. Any questions, guys? All right, let's move on. You can always interrupt. You can always ask me a question. That's never a problem. Okay, so let's see if I can find my chapter notes. Okay, so this is our last section. Very exciting. Now, this is not a difficult section. You have a bunch of formulas. Last class, let me put this here. All right. So last class, I know this says theta. We probably did A and B. It doesn't matter. It's the same thing. Let me see if I can find it. One second, guys. These are just a little nicer. Same formulas. I'm looking for a slide, guys. Okay, just give me 1 second. And you have to excuse me. I'm not going to answer that phone. All right. Sorry about that, guys. All right. Where did my sum and difference formula go? Right here. Okay, guys. All right. This is from your book, but okay, yesterday we studied these formulas, okay? In the orange formula, A and B are different, but they don't have to be. If you replace B with A, you're going to get a series of new formulas, okay? And if you replace this B with A, you're going to get this. So this is called double angle formulas or double identities. And what they do is, to be honest, guys, you really don't even need this. This is good enough. But sure, we'll use it. All it is if you know 30, you can find 60. If you know 60, you can find 120. If you know 45, you can find 90. If you know 80, you can find 160. So it's convenient. Okay. So that's that. Again, these formulas are not so dramatic. If you go here and replace A with B, you're going to get this. But the beauty is these formulas can be converted to these. And that's the beautiful part. Why? Now, if you know 45, you can find 22.5. Okay. If you know 95 somehow, you can find 95 over 2. These are called half angle formulas. So in this section, we will talk about half angle formulas. And these are called double angle formulas, double identity, doesn't matter. I'm going to save all the formulas here, and I'm going to take the ones I need to do the work I need to do. All right, guys, that's the essence of 3.6. Let me see if I can do some problems from your book right here. So right away, guys, sine 22.5. That's like half of something I know, half of 45. Let's do that one. Let's do that one. So I'm going to bring it here. So basically, in this section, you're going to see angles that are either half of the angles you know, 35, 30, 45, and 60, or double the angles you know. 30's double would be 60, doesn't help, we already know 60. 45 would be 90, doesn't help that much, we already know 90. But half angle formulas are very, very convenient. And they're new knowledge for us. There's no other way we could have done it. All right. All right. So what I'm going to do, and be a little patient. It's easy to make mistakes here. And let me see. And I will check my answer. Don't worry. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to use this formula, the very first one. The very first one. Why? Because it has sine, it's alpha over 2, and what's alpha? 45 degrees. Why is that a good choice? Well, I know what sine 45 is. I'm going to say this is 45 divided by 2. Now, I just wrote 45 divided by 2 because that's equal to 22.5. Now, this allows me to write this formula. That's very nice. I'm going to say plus minus, and don't forget that, 1 minus cosine 45. I'm not going to write alpha, I'm going to write 45, which is something I like, divided by 2. All right. So I have done it. Right now, cosine 45 degrees, we can go to the unit circle, but we all know it's square root of 2 over 2. Okay. So I'm going to take this guy and say this is plus minus square root of 2 over 2 over, don't forget the 2 in the bottom. All right, let me double check so that I can fix my error if there is any. All right, so from your unit circle, if you don't believe me, look it up. Your unit circle will tell you that cosine 45 is square root of 2 over 2. Now, how you do it is kind of your business, but the way I was taught, one is 2 over 2. I'm going to do it here. Now that I have the same denominators, I can put this here. Okay, so it's being recorded, so you saw the video, but it's a little hard to write every single line. I don't have a lot of room on my computer screen. All right, now I did make a stupid mistake, but it'll be fixed. It's all right. So now you have a fraction divided by 2. That means you multiply it by half. And what do you get? And this becomes 4. When you multiply the bottom 2 by the bottom of the by the 2 in the way in the bottom, you're going to get a 4. And that 2 will not be available anymore. Oh boy. All right. Now, you can leave it like this. Some people don't like the radical sign in the bottom, so I'm going to change it. All right. I'm going to change it. I'm going to do it here. All right. So what am I going to do? All right. So actually, it's okay. I don't have to do a whole lot. So I'm going to find the I'm going to use the big radical sign to go put it on top. And the radical sign of the bottom for square root will give me 2. And I have eliminated the big radical sign. I'm going to write it all here and it'll make a little more sense. So that's your answer. I'm going to assume it's right, but let me double check, okay? 3.6. 3.6. What number was that? 3.621. Oh, great. Okay, I'm in 3.7. My bad. 3.621. Not bad. We got it. All right. So there's one tiny thing. So let me explain that to you, okay? One tiny thing that I kind of goofed. Let me double check. All right. So guys, um, everything is good. I don't want to, let me explain this to you. I don't want a plus minus. I know it's plus because 22.5 is in the first quadrant, and in the first quadrant, everything is positive. So my bad. You want to be careful about the plus minus. Depending on what quadrant it is, you want to double check. So that was my mistake. Other than that, we got the answer right. The math is not too bad. So I'm going to pause there just a little bit, guys, and I'm going to do a couple more for you. All right. So once again, we decide what quadrant your theta is. And if it's in the first quadrant, everything is positive. Everything, let's just say sine and cosine, and everything depends on it. If it's in the second quadrant, sine is positive, cosine is negative. If it's in the third quadrant, both sine and cosine are negative. If it's in the fourth quadrant, cosine is positive, sine is negative. And depending on these two, you can find cotangent, you can find tangent, you can do all sorts of things. Okay. All right. Let me try one more. Okay. So you should be able to do this. Let's try this. 195. It's 165, 120, 130. Okay, let's try this. 26. So you have to play with it a little bit, okay? Sometimes it may seem a little tricky. So now 195 could be half of something I like, something I'm familiar with, right? We'll have to find it out. We're going to use our calculator. Now 195 is half of what? Let's find out. I do need my calculator. So 195 times 2, 390. Okay, I'll take 390. I like 390. That's a good number. Okay, so see, guys, it's not obvious. Now, I like 390. 390 is 360 plus 30, and that's really unit circle number, right? So I'm gonna do this. So let's work on it. So I'm gonna write this guy is, give me 1 second. I'm gonna say this is sine 390 divided by 2. That's what 190 is. Now I can handle 390. I'll bring the unit circle in and I will work on 390 without any problem. Now, 390, once again, is in the first quadrant. So sign should be positive. I'm not going to bother writing plus minus in case I forget to delete it. I'm going to leave that alone. So I'm going to write down my formula, the one that's still in the box. All right. Again, the plus minus is there depending on the quadrant it's in. I am just going to write positive. Now, almost done because I can find 390 from unit circle. I will bring the unit circle in, but it's hopefully by now you kind of know how to handle it. All right, 390 is 360, excuse me, 360 plus 30. So we're talking about this number, all right? And cosine 390 clearly is going to be square root of 3 over 2, right? Cosine is the x-coordinate. Based on that argument, we're going to say right here, square root of 3 over 2. And that should be good enough. One more thing. I want the denominators should be the same. I'm going to write it as 2 over 2. Why? Because 2 over 2 is 1, and that helps me come up with the same denominator. Now, this top part has the same denominator. The numerators of the top parts can be added or subtracted depending on the symbol. Done. And I have a 2 in the bottom. So using division of fraction, I can replace this with 4. 4. Great. Things are looking good. And I am going to go here. I am going to find the square root of the top. And the square root of the bottom will be 2 because square root of 4 is 2. Well, anyway, it's not going to let me do it, but that's fine. Square root of 2 minus square root of 3 and the whole thing divided by 2. We're going to check our answers and we'll pause for a couple of minutes, okay? So let me check our answers. I kind of forgot this little square root of 2 and 3. That looks much better. So this is 26. Oh, great. Why is it minus? Okay. Okay. Sorry, guys. I made a mistake. My bad. Guys, we have to decide the sign based on 195, not 390. Okay. 195 is going to be here, somewhere here. 180, 180 plus a little bit, right? So 195 is going to be in the third quadrant. In the third quadrant, sign should be negative. So let's fix that. My bad. I'm going to put a minus sign here. When I apply this formula, I'm going to put a minus sign. So your answer should depend on where your main question is. And what I wrote inside is correct. Cosine 390 is what I wrote. Square root of 3 minus 2. So there should be a minus sign, and my bad and my apologies. Again, let's do a couple more, but again, decide where the angle is, and based on the angle, I'm 390 is not what you're looking for. That's a part of your process. That's a part of what you're doing. That is the main question is 195, and decide if sine 195 is positive or negative. Since sine 195 is negative, if 195 is in the third quadrant, sine is negative. If you forget, it's right here. Y coordinates are all negative. Let's see if you have any questions. Any questions? Guys, I'm going to do a couple more. I'm going to come back and the slides are going to be here. I'm going to do a couple more problems. So let's move on. Let's jump out of this session. We're going to record the next session and I'll be back soon. I'll see you soon, guys.